has he met them completely?
Yeah, I'm not at liberty to talk in specifics. When he was suspended, I guess it was early July, there was a process put in place of which he had to conform in order to be where he is today, meaning from second week in July until we started school, the end of August, there were things that were put in place that he had to meet. He met those. Therefore, when we started school and we started our preseason training, i.e. conditioning, weights, individual development, he was a part of those things. How he continues along this progression will determine what happens next. We started official practice on Friday. He was a full member of that, as he will be each and every day leading up to games. You know, there's been a determination already by administration that he will miss games. How many he will miss is yet to be determined, and I think it's ongoing based on how he continues to progress.
Kind of along the same lines, though, Andy. I mean, have you been pleased with him? I mean, what do you look like in practice? I mean, is he kind of adhered to everything on the floor, I guess?
Honestly, I hate to say this because I am a parent, and I feel like I'm a parent to these 13 guys, but as soon as I start bragging about something, he may take a step backwards, but he's been 100% compliant as it related to the things that have been put in place. He's our only senior, and you know, we've talked about this many times in this room, that you want to see a senior sense of urgency out of guys that are going through this for the last time. And you can talk about it, and until a kid is in that seat, it's difficult for him to comprehend how quickly this is coming to an end. So I see a senior sense of urgency out of Marshall. I see a sense of urgency as it relates to the position that he's put himself in. He's completely aware of the predicament that he's created for us, but he's owned it. And he's given us leadership, both physically, emotionally. He's tried to lead some of these new guys as we've started this journey together. And from a basketball standpoint, again, Ben, you mock me sometimes when I say this, but you really do see the greatest improvements between years 1 and 2, and I've seen that in him. He's stronger physically. He has a better understanding of the consistency with which you have to play to be successful at this level, and he's doing the things that we've demanded him to do.
Andy, you said the administration determined he would sit some games. How involved are you in the decision on what games and how many?
Well, Ross has been terrific in leadership in this area, and when we get to the appropriate time, he and I will have a pretty frank conversation. Obviously, he's not dealing with Marshall on a day-to-day basis. That's us. Again, we sat down initially when this occurred and came up with a plan, and there was a lot of discussion between he and I. That will continue as we lead to what the next step is.
How confident are you, whether they're non-conference games or conference games, that you can put your best team on the floor without Marshall?
Well, obviously, you know, he's a guy that's coming off a tremendous year as it related to what he was able to accomplish as a player. He's the reigning SEC leading scorer, so any games that he missed, obviously, will have to fill a void. I'm preparing every day as if he's not out there. So I'm trying to make sure that I do the best that I can with the players that I know are going to be available for game 1 to give us the best chance to be successful.
Other veteran guys behind Marshall say if he does or when he does miss games, I mean, who are the guys that step in from a productivity standpoint, from leadership? You know, I know you got a number of older guys, but who are those leaders on the floor that are being more vocal or whatever?
Well, him being our only senior, then you immediately look at who are the elder statesmen. DeMarco Cox is the oldest guy in our program from an experience standpoint, having been in our program now going into his 4th year. But from a playing time standpoint, he obviously missed all of last year. He's given us leadership as it relates to understanding the demands of day-to-day life in the SEC. Physically, he's healthy. He's been cleared for full activity for well over a month now. His body's in great shape, and he's getting back into basketball form. So from a leadership standpoint, he's a guy that I'm dependent upon because he's been here the longest. But the guys that have been the most productive, obviously you look at Jarvis Summers and you look at Snoop White, 2 guys that are now juniors. Their position changes tremendously as it relates to what is demanded of them and what we're demanding as it relates to how they're supposed to lead for us. Then you look at a guy like Derek Millinghouse, who last year he was stumbling his way along, as most freshmen are, a week into practice. Now from what he was able to accomplish for us last year. We're dependent upon him to show some leadership, especially to our young guys. Aaron Jones is back. AJ was a guy who was our third post last year, really making huge strides when he tore his ACL against Kentucky. He's back and been cleared. He's an emotional leader for us, plays with great energy, and you would never know he was hurt by the way in which he's attacking the game. So we've got a number of different people that we're dependent upon. I could not be more pleased with the 4 freshmen that we brought into this program, 3 of which are practicing each and every day and giving us great contributions. Janari, today will be his first day, honestly, that he's been cleared. Coming off the stress fracture, he's just easing his way back into physical shape. We didn't want to rush it. He just got cleared literally yesterday, so today will be his first live contact. So we've got a lot of different people that we're dependent upon to pull their own weight.